Con xin chào Chan, chào ông John và Sarah và Pháp Đàm ạ. Dạ thì à, trước tiên thì quay lại cái bài mà hỏi về à, thập nhị nhân duyên á, thì Thanh có một cái suy nghĩ vừa rồi với một chị bạn đạo là chị rất muốn đặt câu hỏi đối với Pháp Đàm, à, với A Chan, nhưng mà chị biết là giá trị là điều đó là đúng, là sự thật, là quý báu, nhưng mà cái cách mà hướng tâm tới để có thể trao đổi thì mạnh dạn thì chị rất là ngại, chị không dám à, đặt trực tiếp câu hỏi. Thì ở đây thì Thanh muốn nói là ờ, ờ, trước đây á, Thanh cũng rất là ngại về vấn đề đó, nhưng mà nhờ sự khích lệ và sự sách tấn của chị á, thì Thanh cũng dũng cảm vượt qua được những cái cảm giác đó. Thì Thanh muốn nói ở đây là ờ, bài pháp này cũng ờ, qua sự giảng giải của cha thì có thể giúp cho chị đó có một cái suy xét về cái giá trị giáo pháp tích cực hơn, và điều gì đã khiến cho chị đó phải rất là ngại khi đặt được những câu hỏi đối với các vị thầy ạ.
Um, yeah, so Sister Tang said that there's one friend who had some maybe inquiries about a teacher Samuppada, but the friend is too shy to ask the question, even though that she knows the value of asking questions and being asked questions by the teachers. And Sister Tang said that herself, before she used to be very shy also and didn't dare to ask the questions. But thanks to the encouragement and understanding the value of it, now she can ask as many as question as she wants. So she would like that friend to have the same benefits from asking question as well. So now Sister Tang said that uh, the value, can you also explain about the value of asking questions and what prevents one from asking questions even though one has many? Thank you.
I think we all have different accumulations, different habits. So even when it's not about the Dhamma, some people are very lively and used to asking questions in school or college or at work, whereas others prefer just to be quiet and listen. And I think it's all right. We can't all have the same way of study, just like some just likes to study by listening to discussions, and some prefer to study by reading, studying the books. So what's important is the understanding now, not wishing everyone to have the same approach as we do. And like Sister Tan said, sometimes in the beginning, someone may be shy and then gradually they begin to see the benefit. Sometimes mana is a problem, conceit. They find it embarrassing if they're asked a question and don't know the answer. But for others, they can see that it's helpful for everyone else too. So it's like a way of sharing the Dharma. So different realities at different moments, but what's most precious is understanding right now, understanding the seeing, the hearing, the thinking, whilst asking a question or not liking to ask a question. What's the reality? One may speak out with lobha, we keep quiet with lobha, one may speak out with wise consideration or metta, or one may keep quiet with wise consideration. So it's always back to the citta now, not the other, not the other's cittas.
And I would just add a brief word on the importance of asking questions. because it's it's very easy to convince oneself that one understands what's being said and that one's thinking is correct. But if one starts to ask a question, then it may soon become apparent it makes one more aware that how little one really does understand. And there's a great danger in not speaking out and voicing your views or your understanding as you see it, because you go along thinking that you understand much better than you actually do. And that's the same, I think, for everyone who keeps quiet and just keeps to their own thoughts. We've seen many times people who've been listening to Ajahn Suchin over the radio for many years, sometimes for decades, coming to meet her for the first time. And it's very interesting to see how little they have taken in of what she's been teaching, of the Buddha's teaching. So I just mention that because gaining a better appreciation of how little one understands is worth so much. And it's worth more than any shyness, which, as Sarah mentioned, is just an aspect of conceit. And we all have it to a certain extent, but here the importance of gaining a better understanding is so significant, so great, compared to the embarrassment that one might suffer by asking the question. That and also, of course, one may think that one's shyness is a virtue of some kind, but it's good not to put oneself forward so much. Let others do the let others do the talking and the showing how much they know, and I will just keep quiet and take it all in. But that's not really the case at all. The shyness is an akusala tendency, no doubt about that. So it's another aspect of akusala to be overcome, or at least to be acknowledged. Thank you.
Yes, to have one's understanding questioned is very important. Otherwise, one just continues thinking that it's all clear and one knows what is true and right, but only when it's questioned does one begin to appreciate maybe it's not so clear, or maybe one doesn't really know what the truth of this moment is now. And it's a benefit for everyone else when one asks and when one is questioned. So one can think of it as a sharing of Dhamma at that time too.
Don't know if Achan has any comments.
Does she prefer to answer?
Sister Tang, yes, she can answer, but I think the friend she mentioned maybe still not ready.
She doesn't like to ask, but does she prefer to answer? Or prefer to whisper? Or prefer to write the question?
I think she asked her questions through others. And in this case, Sister Tang is speaking for her to better understand the value of asking the questions.
So the question right now.
Dạ cô Thanh không biết là lúc đầu cô có đề cập đến thập nhị nhân duyên á, thì chắc là cũng là do có câu hỏi về thập nhị nhân duyên đúng không ạ? Cô có định hỏi gì về thập nhị nhân duyên không ạ?
Không trả lời nốt cái câu hỏi vừa rồi hả chị?
Thì A Chan đang muốn một người để đối thoại đó.
Dạ. Vậy thì thôi tạm ngưng ở đây chị ạ.
Dạ, không sao, nếu mà cô muốn nói tiếp về chủ đề đó thì cô cứ tiếp tục ạ. Cô cứ nói gì thì con lại dịch cho A Chan để nghe A Chan giảng tiếp.
Dạ, tại vì chị ấy nói là ờ, câu câu hỏi á, được đặt ra thì biết bà sẽ trả lời rồi và hiểu rồi, nhưng mà đôi khi cũng muốn đặt câu hỏi đó, nhưng mà ờ, không 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 dám không dám mở mic lên.
Dạ, thì cái điểm đó
Dạ.
thì cũng các vị đã giảng rồi đúng không ạ? Cái sự ngại
À,
ngùng đó thì các vị cũng đã giảng rồi.
dạ.
So,
Dạ, thì thôi, để trả lời sau vậy. Vậy thì Thanh muốn nói về cái thập nhị nhân duyên, là khi mà nói về vô minh và tham ái á, là nó là cội gốc của luân hồi, và bất cứ những cái gì mà tới từ vô minh đó thì không do hiểu biết, nên là tạo tạo cho nên là tạo nên các nghiệp sanh lên là do duyên bởi 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 cái hành đó là ở trong quá khứ, và kết nối giữa kiếp sống của quá khứ với hiện tại thì nó là thức, nên nó có sự hiện hữu giữa danh và sắc, và bắt đầu có lục nhập thì có xúc có thọ, thì có thể xem nó là kết quả trong cái hiện tại không, vì năm cái mà giữa thức danh sắc lục nhập xúc thọ đó thì nó sanh lên do bởi vô minh mà. Do bởi nghiệp mà, thì ở đây là hành hành ở trong quá khứ, vậy thì nó có thể được xem là những cái tên này là cái kết quả trong cái hiện tại không chị?
cái gì là kết quả trong hiện tại ạ? Bây giờ con đặt
Dạ.
câu hỏi là sẽ xin giảng về ba thời quá khứ, hiện tại và vị lai trong thập nhị nhân duyên ha? Hay là
Dạ.
hay là cô muốn hỏi cụ thể cái điểm đó? Tại vì con không biết cô nói là coi cái này là kết quả thì là cái gì ạ?
Là năm cái nhân trong hiện tại là ừm, nó bắt đầu từ từ lục nhập xúc thọ ái, xúc thọ
Từ thức ạ, từ thức đó là
duyên
hiện tại rồi
hành.
ạ. Từ thức đã là hiện tại rồi.
Nhưng nó có những cái cái nguyên nhân, đúng là ba thời nó xếp trong cái hiện tại, nhưng mà trong vòng vòng thập nhị nhân duyên thì nó có thể là xếp vô những cái nguyên nhân của hiện tại và kết quả của hiện tại.
Ừm,
Dạ thì thôi chị cứ giúp Thanh là hỏi là trong cái vòng thập nhị nhân duyên của ba thời hiện tại quá khứ vị lai đó, thì nó có thể được xem là những cái kết quả trong hiện tại không chị?
um, kết quả là Vipaka đúng không ạ? Cái kết quả ở đây của cô là gì ạ?
À, dạ.
So she would like to better understand the uh, three, not three times, but three phases of the past, present, and future in the Paticca Samuppada. What links are the cause and what links are the result?
Well, just as a quick start, because I'm not going to answer the whole question, but each link has a conditioning factor and a conditioned factor. So in general, you can say each link has a cause and a result. And that's how it goes on and on. But that's just my brief comment, and I'll leave it. I'll wait until Sarah has made some comments first.
For example, avijja, of avijja pachaya sankara. So we know that because of ignorance in the past, there was karma in the past, there were results in this life, and so on. We know without ignorance, there is no more becoming, no more birth at all. Once it's eradicated, that's the end of the rounds of samsara. So we can say it was the ignorance in the past that conditioned the past karma, but there's ignorance now too. So how can we understand about ignorance in the past if there's no understanding of avijja, ignorance now? At this moment of thinking, is there any understanding or is there ignorance? Most of the day there is ignorance. When there's attachment, there's ignorance. When there's aversion, there's ignorance. When there's no understanding, there is ignorance about the truth. So because of ignorance, life continues on. And ignorance is a reality to be understood now. This is why, as we said, the questioning and considering is important. Otherwise, it can't be known how much ignorance there is. The more understanding, the more ignorance is revealed. So rather than just saying avijja is the link in the past, we can learn a little bit more about the characteristic, the nature of ignorance now, just not understanding the truth, even at this moment, even during Dhamma discussions. So without ignorance, yes, there couldn't be any new karma in the past, and that karma in the past couldn't bring results, but because of ignorance in the past, it led to the kusala and akusala dhammas, the karmas that brought results in this life by way of birth and so on. But even in this life, there are kusala and akusala hitas, and when they're strong enough, they are karma that can bring results in future as well. So what we learn about as path links are also relevant to this life. And just as there's ignorance now, new karma at moments of bad deeds, bad speech, or moments of understanding, or kindness, making offerings, gifts. So in the future, it'll be the same. So dependent origination is really about kusala, akusala, karma, vipaka, round and round and round. Three vata, akusala vata, karma vata, vipaka vata, round and round because of ignorance. Let me see how Ajahn would like to respond to your question.
Is this life present life or past life or future life? Now, this life, is it present life or past life or future life? Simple question, isn't it?
Câu hỏi cho cô đấy ạ.
Dạ, thưa Ajahn, là cái kiếp hiện tại này nó là do nhân quá khứ, và nó cũng là tích lũy cho kiếp tương lai ạ.
Ý của cô hỏi là kiếp sống này nó là kiếp hiện tại hay là kiếp vị lai hay là kiếp quá khứ?
Dạ, kiếp này là kiếp của quá khứ.
Bây giờ là kiếp quá khứ của tương lai đúng không ạ?
Dạ.
Và là tương lai của quá khứ đúng không ạ?
Dạ.
Có phải ý của cô định nói thế hay là khác ạ?
Dạ. Đúng vậy.
She said that this life is the past life of future life and the future life of past life, Ajahn.
So is there any understanding of seeing now this life? Is there understanding right now of seeing now this life? Or no understanding of seeing avijja?
Có cái hiểu không ạ? Có cái hiểu về cái thấy không ạ?
Dạ, chưa ạ.
Not yet, she said, Ajahn.
Not yet understanding of what?
Not
Or
yet
no.
understanding.
So there is ignorance, avijja right now, because when there's no understanding, it must be no understanding, right? So this life, no understanding, conditioned by previous life, past life, avijja, and avijja, no understanding, seeing right now, condition, no understanding of seeing in the future life, isn't it? So avijja, no understanding of seeing right now, is conditioned by avijja, no understanding of what was their past life. Avijja conditioned sankhara, this life, no understanding of seeing or anything, condition, attachment to what is there, and their intention to have what one is clinging to all the time, on and on and on, by way of avijja, no understanding that it's not that anymore. Even right now, seeing now, it's not just seeing a moment ago, right? But does one still want to see? Cling to that which is seen? No understanding that it's not there anymore. All gone instantly, never to arise again. So understanding what we are talking about, this life, seeing, is a reality. No understanding of seeing as it just seeing, no one there at all. No understanding of that which is seen that is gone instantly, on and on and on until next life. So avijja, ignorance of what is there right now, condition avijja and sankhara, next life. Is it true?
Câu hỏi đấy ạ. Có phải vậy không ạ?
Dạ.
Yes, Ajahn.
So reality can be understood right now because it's there, seeing. No understanding that it's just conditioned to arise to see. Before seeing, there's no seeing at all. And no one can make seeing arise, but it's there by conditions. Understanding that which has arisen right now. So that can be the moment of realizing the nature of that which is there, gone instantly, condition the next moment, next reality, on and on and on and on. No way out, no way to stop the moment to arise and falls away by conditions. This life is the past of future life. So no doubt about avijja conditioned sankhara, because there is not just seeing, there is moments of doing something wholesome or unwholesome, no understanding that is the cause for the future life. To see the present object or unpleasant object by conditions. That's why we learn to understand the truth of the nature of what is there as it is. Feeling cannot be memory, cannot be attachment. See, they are there by conditions. If there's the realization of the truth, what is there is only conditioned. It has to arise, but no one understands it when it's there. So develop the understanding of that which has arisen right now. That is the only way, because it's gone instantly, unknowingly, until we learn to attend to the seeing that it's a moment of experiencing that which is seen, and then gone, both of them, that which sees and that which is seen, never to arise again. Is it true? Satya Parami, little by little, until so confidence, nothing lasts. Whatever is there is conditioned to be just as it is, no matter attachment, very low degree or high degree, very strong or very weak, by conditions. So is there attachment right now, even to that which is seen right now, unknown, uncontrollable? Nothing can be done. No one can stop the arising of whatever now arises and falls away. It's the way it is. That's the meaning of Dhamma, the truth, the reality of what is there as it is. No one, not anything at all. Only that which is seen, only that which is heard, only that which attend to the meaning of the word, attending to the shape and form, that what is the truth, just the color, different color, no matter you take it for a chair or a bed, only color is seen, but not just one tiny speck, but by moment to moment, condition the succession of what is seen to be, to appear as something, some sign, some mark to be remembered. This is this and that is that. Even they are seen different moments. So very quickly, it conditioned the nimitta, the sign or the mark of something, or something, because the arising and falling away of this moment is unbelievable without understanding the condition for each reality. There can never be moment of understanding the truth, because there is not just the reality which sees. There are other realities, cetasika, experience the same object, and there are also the reality which is unwholesome, and there is also another reality which is wholesome. What is what can be learned little by little, because they are there now, one moment at a time, different reality at a time, but they are there as no one. But when they do not show up as just one reality, one characteristic at a time, it appears as something and someone, atta. So in truth, it's the word of anatta. What is there is conditioned to arise and falls away, never to arise. How can it be something? How can it be atta? So no matter what, the truth is anatta, not anything, not anyone. As we used to take it for my eyes, my legs, but in truth it's seen, different shape and form, taken for eye and taken for leg. Learn understand the truth, whether it's true or not. What is understanding is opposite of ignorance. Did Buddha still have ignorance? Impossible.
So we can repeat what we have learned about the different factors of paticca samuppada, but without understanding what life is now, without understanding how there is ignorance at this moment. There can't be any understanding of ignorance in the past or what ignorance in the future if there's no understanding of seeing now, seeing as a result. How can there be understanding of seeing in the past, and so on? So the ignorance in the past, just like now, was a cause, a condition for the karma in the past, just like it is now and just as it will be in the future. And because of that karma in the past, there was birth in this lifetime. So the vijnana refers to the birth in this life, the vipaka citta, the patisandhi citta. So this is the vijnana. And that past karma didn't just condition the birth, it conditioned other vipaka cittas as well in this life. And in the same way, when it is the karma in this life, akusala karma or kusala, it will bring results in future. And not only was the birth in this life a result of past karma, at that first moment of life, there were also cetasikas and rupas conditioned by that same past karma. In the context of paticca samuppada, the vijnana refers to the patisandhi citta, and the nama refers to the cetasikas that arose together with that patisandhi citta, and the rupa refer to the rupas that were conditioned at that first moment of life. At the first moment of life, the rupas that were conditioned by karma are the heart-based group of rupas, the masculinity or femininity group of rupas, and the body sense group of rupas, just 3 groups of rupas. Usually, rupa has to arise before the citta, but at the first moment of life, the rupas, the patisandhi citta, and the cetasikas arising with patisandhi citta, they all arise at the same moment, at the first moment of life. So just as the first moment of this life was conditioned by past karma, so first moment of next life will be conditioned by karma, either from the past or in this life. So we learn a little more about what the different realities are being referred to. But again, how can there be any understanding of what rupas are, or cetasikas are, or birth consciousness is, if there is no understanding of what citta is, what cetasika is, what rupa is? So again, it comes back to studying, understanding, considering more about citta now, how the citta has to be accompanied by different cetasikas. And the first moment of this life, the patisandhi citta, it's a vipaka citta. And in this realm, as we know, it's kusala vipaka, accompanied by wholesome roots, wholesome mental factors. Not so in every realm. And it's exactly the same kind of citta as the bhavanga cittas that follow it. But at birth, it has a particular function of being the birth consciousness, beginning life. So each word we have to consider carefully. And without the citta, the namas and rupas, then all the other ayatanas are conditioned to arise. So if we don't understand anything about what ayatana is now, how can we understand what ayatana was at the beginning of life? So we have to consider what ayatana is now at the moment of seeing, for example. At the moment of seeing, there must be the cetasikas that arise with the seeing. There must be the eye base. There must be the visible object that impinges on the eye base. So the eye base, the visible object, the seeing consciousness, the cetasikas, they all meet. The ayatana is the meeting of these different dhammas. And this is life at this very moment, just as it was life at the first moment of life, the meeting of different namas and rupas together. So understanding now, understanding as we discuss every time about seeing now, what are the conditions for seeing, what are the realities that arise with seeing, what conditions it now and in the past and in the future. This is the way to understand a little more about Paticca Samuppada, not just learning the terms and memorizing the words, but considering each one carefully. Ignorance now, ignorance of seeing, of what is seen now, for example.
Thank you,
John.
Sarah.
Tom, may I just add a little bit to that, if I may?
Yes, please.
Because we did touch on this a little bit last week, if my memory serves me rightly. And also, I noticed the question today talks about the three facets. While these are not completely clear, I think I've got them roughly clear in my mind. So look, if I can go through them, as Tanajan and Sarah have alluded to, we touched on this last week. Aviccara in the past, aviccara paccaya sankhara is a condition for aviccara vijnana. So it's the, aviccara paccaya sankhara. So sankhara refers, as we spoke about last week, to those punyabi, or the kusala, those 8 mahakusalas, the 12 akusalas, and then also, which includes the 5, as we learned, the 5 rupajanas, and the arupajanas were the aninja. So aviccara paccaya sankhara produces vijnana in the present life. Vijnana is paccaya vijnana paccaya namarupam, is a condition for namarupa. So it's kind of a shorthand. Namarupa is a condition for salayatana, the 6 ayatanas, chakayatana, sotayatana, and so on, up to manayatanam. Salayatana paccaya, this is the present life. Paccaya passa, contact. Passa paccaya vedana.
Chị Tâm có thể dục hộ em được không ạ?
Vedana paccaya tanha. Usually this is the way it goes with the kusala. Vedana paccaya tanha.
Sandra, because of many, Pali terms, so our translation.
All right, okay. I
cannot
can flesh
follow.
those out.
So, yes. So,
all right.
But anyway, we don't need to go through the whole dependent origination, I don't think.
All I was trying to do, I hear that, Jonathan. What I was trying to do is to get to the point where it's the next life. That's all I was trying to do.
Okay, so, well, just get to the point then. Yeah.
All right, I hear you. Vedana paccaya tanha. So feeling conditions, strong. Tanha is strong attachment. Tanha paccaya upadana, which is clinging conditions, bhava. Now this was spoken about last week, and that relates to kama bhava, rupa bhava, and arupa bhava. So that's birth in the 11 kama lokas. So that's the 6 deva lokas, the manusa loka.
There's still a problem with all these Pali terms you're using. I can see poor old Hai there is absolutely struggling.
All right, if I can explain them pretty easily, they're not difficult Pali words.
But we don't want a lengthy explanation of all the 12 links, or even.
I know I hear it's difficult, but I'm just trying to get to the point where it's bhava, kama bhava, which relates to birth in either the
the
Kama Loka, which is our realm, and the Dewa realms, and the animal realms, and so on, and which is conditioned for jati, which is conditioned for birth again. And we have jati pacha jara, which is decay, marana, which is death, jara, marana, soka, sorrow, soka, paridewa, wailing and crying, paridewa, domanasa dukkha supayasa sambhavanti. So that's the whole cycle of by way of those particular, they're called nidanas, those links.
Thanks for that recitation. That's very impressive. But I think the questioner has the 12 links, is accessible and knows it. But her question is really about how how it's to be understood in terms of the three phases.
Yes, I hear that. So that's what I was saying. There's a point where there's the past life, which we've talked about, which leads to the ignorance and the birth in this particular life, right up to bhava, which is again a birth, a condition for birth in the next life.
Ajahn and Jonathan and I are invited to help and to teach here because we talk about the understanding of Dhamma right now. This is the point. The rest is not relevant. If it's not about understanding life now, if it's not about avijja at this moment, seeing now, hearing now, because seeing now is just the same as seeing in the past, seeing in the future, seeing in a hell realm, seeing in a heavenly realm. So this is a point to just come back to this moment, not to use terms that are not familiar to people and to add details which we can read about in the book. But the purpose of this discussion and the reason we're invited is to help each other learn to study about the truth right now. Let's see how Ajahn would like to proceed. Ajahn?
Dhamma is so very subtle. That's why just the word cannot condition understanding at all until there is the understanding of the reality which is there. So the point is not remember the term and the meaning, but to understand the truth of what is there right now. It's there unknown. It's taken for something, atta, from birth to death. And that's wrong understanding because nothing can last at all. It's conditioned to arise and fall away. That's why so many moments are there in life. In split second, experiences different object, unknown. That's why we learn to understand just one reality at a time by different aspects. For example, even just the word ayatana, what is it? How many ayatana are there? And what is ayatana at a moment? See, that's why beginning to understand the meaning of ayatana, that it has to be reality, not just the word. And now, what is ayatana right now? Or how many ayatana right now? Just in a moment. Not just from birth to death, how many ayatanas are there and so on, just right now. That's why study Dhamma is not study the word, the meaning, but the reality which appears by way of nimitta. See, just learn to understand the truth in life. What is real now? There is seeing, but seeing something all the time. But in truth, it cannot be anything at all. That is meant by enlightenment, that is meant by the Buddha, the enlightened one. Otherwise, how can there be the understanding that even seeing right now is not permanent at all? It's so very, very short. Just arise and see and then gone, never to arise again. Learn to let go the idea of self, the idea of that which sees and think and like and hatred or attachment on, and that which is seen, the sound and whatever in a day. There are so many realities arising together, but what appear? See, but even it appears in truth, not as it is, when there's no right understanding of any reality at all. Whatever arises falls away in split second. See, so we are talking about that which is so true, so real, because seeing arises by conditions to see just only that and then gone. Is it ayata and so on? But we don't use the term ayatana without understanding why is ayatana, what moment is ayatana. See, that's why learn to let go ignorance and attachment. The past ignorance, condition this life, ignorance, and ignorance this life, condition ignorance next life, because it hasn't been eradicated yet. That's why learn to understand whether is there someone or something at all. The ultimate truth. What is there just a moment gone, never to arise again? And we keep on talking about the Paticca the term and so on. But what about the characteristic, the reality, the truth of seeing now arises and falls away? The first round of Ariya Satya. See, even just the word avijja, who knows? It's not I. It doesn't belong to anyone. But it is a reality which experiences the object without any understanding of the truth of it at all. That's why it conditions sankhara or whatever is there, attachment as condition for whatever arises by way of Ariya Satya and so on. That's why I learn to understand reality as not anyone at all, uncontrollable. That's why whatever in life, each life, years ago, and present life and future life, no one there at all until it's just the way it is. The way seeing is conditioned to see only that which can be seen, only that which impinges on the eye base. Is it not ayatana? Conditioned by the birth consciousness vijnana, conditioned nama and rupa, and nama and rupa ayatana to experience the object, how many of them has to be there. Learn to understand little by little, but so firm, so confident of the truth of anatta. Nothing is left at all. It's there by conditions and gone. There will be tomorrow, next year, and so on, next life. No understanding of what are there at all, until hearing the word of truth from whom the enlightened one, the Buddha, how long to be the Buddha, the enlightened one, the Buddha to be without parami, little by little, understanding firmer and firmer of the truth. And that is Satya Barami by Panya Barami. See, that's why just learn to understand how much understanding of just one word, which represents one reality. Even hardness, what condition it? Not just only one condition. Kamma, Chitta, Uttu, Ahara. See, what is conditioned by Kamma cannot be conditioned by other condition. Chitta does not cannot condition the rupa, which is conditioned Kamma, and so on, little by little. So, if there is the understanding of ayatana, there can be understanding of whatever is there at any time, not just the word. That's why we learn to understand that what we heard is just about what is there now. Every moment, avijja is there, unknown, and no understanding of the truth. But right understanding is opposite reality, opposite nature of avijja. It is right understanding, not ignorance with wrong understanding. See, learn to understand this moment by different words, little by little. Ayatana, nama, rupa, upadana, bhava, and so on. It's there right now. That's why if we just talk about the meaning of the term, not understanding the truth that it's just there right now, which can be studied, can be learned, but not from the very beginning. Even the truth, the Arya Satya, has to be understood stage by stage, 3 rounds. See how deep it is, not just the word translated. That's why what Ayatana is there, because we are talking about Ayatana, what moment, what Ayatana, and so on. Even while sleeping, what Ayatana is there? It's the Ayatana. See, it's not just the term, but the understanding of the reality by different aspects, by way of Ayatana, by way of Dhatu, by way of Arya Satya, by way of Paticca. They all conform because the truth is the truth. Nobody can change at all. And right understanding cannot be just so highly or strongly. It has to develop against the current of ignorance now. No understanding of seeing and hearing. That's why it's so great. Nothing can measure the very, very, how do you say it? Understanding the truth. So precious in samsara to understand the truth until it's instantly by conditions, experience, realizing the nature of what we are talking about. No word, but it appears to right understanding so clear what we are talking about. No word about ayatana, no word about paticca, but no doubt about the characteristic of that which is there. But without understanding the nature, the characteristic of what is there right now, understanding just the word, the term, the dhatu, the ayatana, the paticca, but no understanding the nature of that which is there as ayatana or as dhatu or as paticca. See, that's why study Dhamma is study what is now appearing from ignorance to begin to understand so very little, 3 levels, pariyati, patipati, and pativeda. That's why it takes quite great patience, khanti parami, and satika sampachanya. See, all agree, conform with the other. Without understanding the most precious moment right now, listening carefully, consider the truth which is there right now, little by little. No need to go anywhere to find the truth. No need to go somewhere to try to understand it. It has to be right now. Even viriya, or no matter what is it. So we talk about what is there little by little. They are not known. Even they are there. Viriya is there. Vitaka is there, vichara is there, and so on. Are they not paticca? See, not the word, not the term, but the truth of what is there. Begin to realize that there is no understanding of what is there as it is. Avijja is so great. It covers up the truth. Only panya that can understand the truth, wearing away little by little ignorance and attachment and any kinds of akusala unwholesome reality. Who knows that attachment is so unwholesome and avijja is greater than that because it conditions loba. avijja conditioned sankhara. See, it's not just a word, but it's now. Anytime that right understanding begins to develop, gradually it works its way to understand the Sataka Sampajanya in life any moment. On and on and on. Each word is so very precious because it conditions right understanding when there is careful considering of the characteristic of a reality right now. For example, thinking, seeing, hearing, smelling. What reality is there? Sees, hears, and so on. Little by little, great patience, Kanti Parami, not just only to understand the truth, but to have less ignorance and attachment at moment of eating, dressing, washing, no matter what is there in life. Without condition to understand it, it cannot be understood. Great patience. So what is meant by parami? So great, kusala, to support understanding, to arise a little more gradually, little by little, with patience and satya and adidana and nekama, just to let go ignorance from seeing, hearing, and whatever is there. Little by little. Is this the path? Is this the only way? Is this Makkah? Understanding, right understanding of what is there now? No understanding. Begin to understand from hearing, considering so firmly with great parami, condition, direct understanding of that object. Instantly, the nature of anatta appears. No one can make it arise. It's there by condition. It has a reason by condition. Just aware of what object, no selection at all. Who know before what would be the object of awareness and right understanding, all by conditions. That's why understanding the different kinds of conditions as well. Anantara Pajaya, see, Samanantara Pajaya, Sahachata Pajaya, little by little, to let go. No understanding of how come to be seen right now. Not just the word, arranged by way of Paticca and so on. Is it true?
So if we go back to birth, so the vijnana is the birth, the first moment of life. And as we discussed at the first moment of life, which is the result of karma, there must be the Chaitasikas arising with that chitta, and there must be the groups of rupas that I mentioned from the first moment of life. Without the birth and those other dhammas, how could the different realities in life, the different namas and rupas which meet together, the ayatanas, arise again and again, like now. So now we can say six pairs of ayatanas, but at the moment of seeing, how many ayatanas are there? The eye base is an ayatana, the visible object that impinges on it is an ayatana, the citta, the seeing, is an ayatana. The 7 Chaitasikas, each one is an ayatana. They all meet together at the moment of seeing. Without birth, no seeing in this life. So we begin to learn that ayatana is not just a list of terms and definitions, but it is the meeting place of the realities at this very moment. At a moment of thinking, how many ayatanas are there. There's just the chitta that thinks and the cetasikas that arise with it. If it's kusala thinking, at least 19 cetasikas must arise. If it's akusala, not so many. So each one is ayatana when it arises and meets together at this very moment of thinking. So without past karma, there wouldn't be birth. Without birth and the associated cetasikas and rupas, there wouldn't be the arising of any dhammas which meet together as ayatana. So ayatana is not a term in the book. It's the realities at this very moment associating together. So this is why, without understanding a little bit more about what is true, what is real now, how it is conditioned, whatever we read about paticca samuppada won't make any sense. Back to the ignorance now. So at a moment of ignorance, ignorance is an ayatana too. It arises with the citta and the other akusala cetasikas together. So at that moment, they are ayatanas. But if there's no ignorance at a moment of understanding, then ignorance is not ayatana. A moment of hearing, seeing is not ayatana. So ayatana is just what arises now and meets together now. So I appreciate that how we learn from Ajahn's example, we have to consider each word very carefully, not just learn terms in the book or translate different definitions, but understand what is true right now.
Sarah,
and that's how it was in the past and how it will be in the future again.
you mentioned the 6 pairs. Can you elaborate on the 6 pairs that are salayatana?
So, for example, there is eye sense, visible object, ear sense, sound, and so on, chitta and the cetasika, subtle rupas, the dhammayatana, nanayatana, dhammayatana. But each reality, each eye sense, each ear sense is only ayatana at the moment it arises. At the moment of seeing, ear sense is not an ayatana. So this is why even when we learn certain definitions, we have to consider what is the reality now. And at a moment of seeing, each cetasika is an ayatana. So how many ayatanas? Seeing, eye sense, visible object, 7 cetasikas. So it's more important to understand what is true now, what is real now, than just follow the definitions. Perhaps Ajahn would like to add more on this point too.
What is not ayatana? See? But no understanding why it's ayatana. Because it has to be there. Without it, there cannot be that very moment at all. And when we talk about the 6 pairs, there is eye base now, is it? Without it, how can there be seeing? And that Cetasika arising together with seeing. That's why we learn to understand realities by way of ayatana. What ayatana is there? The 6, the inside and the outside. See? That's why whatever is real, when it's there, it is ayatana, because it's there together with other reality. Without it, that moment cannot arise at all. For example, seeing, it is not alone, but there must be that which arises with it together. It's ayatana. So Dhammayatana is cetasika, arising with seeing. until even the plane without rupa, neva sanya, na sanya, yatana. There must be ayatana. Whenever there is a reality there, because whatever is there has to be there together as ayatana of that particular moment. At moment we talk about seeing, hearing, the the ear base cannot be ayatana. It cannot be there, no use at all. It cannot condition anything or hear or seeing to arise. That's why seeing right now, there must be ayatana, Dhamma ayatana arising together. Chitta is manayatana, and Cetasikas are Dhamma ayatana. Not only that, because it says it needs the eye base as ayatana, Chakkayatana, and the object which impinges on the eye base, Rupayatana, a moment of seeing. So it includes all realities there, Phassa Cetasika, Phassa-yatana, Vedana-yatana, Sanya-yatana, and so on, by way of Cetasika. So it is Dhamma-yatana, no matter how many in a moment. So whatever is there, experience the objects, it needs other reality arising together. Nothing can arise alone. They have to condition each other, like Chitta condition Cetasika and Cetasika condition Chitta. By way of Sampayutta-paccaya, they cannot be something different from that which experiences the object. No matter Chitta, it experiences the object. Cetasika, it experiences the object. They arise together by way of ayatana. And at moment of seeing, only Chitta and Cetasika cannot condition seeing at all. It needs the Sakkayatana and Rupayatana. See? That's why it's so very subtle, each moment. That's why understanding avijja, no understanding, condition, sankhara, see, no matter it is punya pisankhara, apunya pisankhara, or anensha pisankhara. And we learn more, not by our own thought, what is punya pisankhara, what is apunya pisankhara, and what is anensha pisankhara. See, arupajhana is that which is a nature, unshakable, the highest calmness without rupa as object, or any rupa in that plane. Is that right? Is that the meaning of ayatana, vedanayatana, passayatana, sanyayatana? All cetasikas are there as ayatana. It has to be there. They have to be there together, but by way of different ayatana. For example, the eye is Chakkayatana, the inside, and the Rupayatana is the outside. And Chitta, Manayatana, is the inside, and Cetasikas, the outside. Because Cetasikas cannot perform the function of Chitta. Learn to understand the truth. At any moment of understanding, it gradually letting go ignorance and other reality, which is there, unwholesome, and finally even wholesome, to be Giriya Citta, no more to be the condition or the root, Sankhara.
And if a subtle rupa is the object of experience or of understanding, then it is also Dhammayatana. If Nibbana is realized at that moment, Nibbana is Dhammayatana too. So any reality at all can be ayatana. But only when it is arising now, when it is meeting now, or the object now. Otherwise, now nibbana is not ayatana. If there's no realization of it, it's never ayatana. So it all comes back to this moment. There's no point talking about ayatanas if we don't talk about this moment, because only by learning a little more about what is true now, seeing now, how it's conditioned to arise by eye-base visible object, the cetasikas arise together with it. Only in this way can there be understanding of what is the meaning of ayatana. Otherwise, we just run through definitions, 6 ayatanas or 6 pairs. It doesn't mean anything. So it has to be here and now. And it just conforms with everything we've discussed and considered and understood about different realities.
And Sarah, the terms salayatana and ayatana, are they the same, or is there any difference or different connotation?
It's the same. So salayatana is referring to 6 pairs. It just means any ayatanas that are arising now. So if eye base arises, it's an ayatana. So it's just referring to all dhammas that can be ayatana, even nibbana, because it can be dhammayatana.
Thank you.
It's like we read about all cetasikas, any cetasika can be ayatana, but actually only cetasikas arising now are dhammayatana.
Chị Xuân Lam hình như là có câu hỏi đúng không ạ? Em thấy chị bật camera.
Tâm hỏi chị hả?
Dạ, em thấy chị bật camera, không biết là chị có câu hỏi không?
Vậy thì chị xin hỏi câu hỏi này đi không? Thì hôm trước khi mà trong cái pháp đàm tiếng Anh đó thì có một bạn hỏi trước cho là sắc có làm duyên cho tâm hay không? Thì chú nói là sắc không làm duyên cho tâm. Thì chị có cái thắc mắc là khi mà đối tượng in dấu lên trên nhãn căn thì nó sẽ làm duyên để cho nhãn thức cái sanh khởi. Như vậy thì có thể nói là đối tượng nó làm duyên cho tâm nhãn thức được hay không?
Đối tượng có làm duyên cho tâm nhãn thức được hay không, đúng không ạ?
Đúng rồi, tâm. Tại vì nó sinh trước rồi nó mới là in dấu lên trên nhãn căn và mới làm duyên cho nhãn thức sanh khởi. Như vậy thì mình có thể nói là đối tượng đó nó làm duyên cho nhãn thức, tức là cho tâm được hay không?
Vâng, nhưng mà thứ nhất là tức là chị nói là bác John nói là sắc không thể làm duyên cho tâm, em không chắc là bác nói vậy đâu.
Hôm trước trong cái trong cái phiên dịch đó thì chị có nghe như vậy. Thì chú có nói là tâm thì làm duyên cho sắc. Nhưng mà qua cái sách đó thì chị đọc đó, thì chị thấy là tâm nương vào sắc để sanh và sắc thì nương vào tâm để sanh. Thì chị không có rõ chỗ này, em có thể nói để chị được nghe giảng cái chỗ này tâm.
Vâng. Miss Xuân Lan said that she thought she heard from one of the discussions. John said that the rupas don't condition chittas, but she thinks that the rupas do condition chittas. For example, it can be the object, or it can be the base for the chitta to arise. So can you elaborate on this point?
Yes, like at this moment, visible object is a rupa, eye sense is rupa. They condition the chitta to arise. They have to have already arisen, except at the very first moment of life, the rupa has to have arisen to condition the citta. So I don't know whether it was a mishearing or a typo, but anyway, rupas condition cittas throughout life. And I also wanted to emphasize that when we're talking about paticca samuppada and the ayatanas, for example, there's a lot of overlap. Like people think they read about vijnana, birth, and then the nama rupa, and then the ayatanas. But from the first moment of life, even the birth consciousness is ayatana. The cetasikas arising with it are ayatana. So from the very first moment of life, any realities arising are ayatanas. And when we read about ayatanas, condition, phassa, contact, but phassa is an ayatana too. So phassa is an ayatana at every moment in life, because there cannot be any moment of experiencing an object without phassa. So from the first moment to the last moment of life, phassa is dhammayatana, arising together with the citta, meeting the citta. So it's always ayatana. So don't think that there are the ayatanas and then there is phassa and then there is vedana and so on. Because phassa is ayatana, vedana is an ayatana. They arise together at each moment. So what we read about in Paticca Samuppada just confirms it's just the same as what we study normally. Vedana, the very first Patisandhicitta, is ayatana already. So there's a lot of overlap and stress, for example, on phassa. Why is it stressed? Because without phassa, the citta cannot experience any object. By ahara paccaya, phassa is a condition for the experience of the object at each moment. So it's stressing phassa as a nutriment condition, ahara paccaya, but it's still ayatana at each moment. So I appreciate Soon Lan's careful listening. So if you hear something wrong, then you know it's not right, because we all make mistakes, as Ajahn was the first to say. So, of course, rupas condition cittas, and whenever citta arises, and whenever seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching arise, they must be conditioned by rupas, and the rupas are ayatanas at that moment.
Yes, I don't remember the comment, but the context may have been talking about the way that a person reacts to the experiencing of a particular object. So the liking or disliking is not conditioned by the object that's experienced. It's the accumulated tendency that brings the kusala or akusala reaction to experiencing a particular object. And it may have been in that context that the comment was made that you refer to, but I really can't remember it. So apologies if I said something misleading.
Vâng, em cũng nghĩ là nhiều cái bối cảnh.
And it's a good point. It depends on the particular citta that is being referred to. Seeing has rupa as condition, but what about thinking now or kindness now? It's the habit, not conditioned by rupa.
Yeah, thank you Ajahn, and thank you John, thank you Sarah. Con đã hiểu rồi ạ. Con xin có một câu hỏi nữa. Thì khi con học phi diệu pháp á, mà khi mà phân chia tâm, xếp tâm thành 121 tâm á, có kể cả 5 tâm tố siêu thế, 5 tâm tố gọi là 5 tâm tố siêu thế, và đồng thời cũng có 9 tâm tố đáo đại nữa. Nhưng mà đó là những cái tâm mà của các bậc A-la-hán. Con không biết là giữa cái tâm tố siêu thế, 5 cái tâm tố siêu thế và 9 cái tâm tố đáo đại, tức là 5 cái tâm tố sắc giới và 5 cái tâm tố vô sắc giới đó, thì nó có cái gì khác nhau ạ? Con có cảm giác như là nó có một cái sự dư thừa gì lặp lại ở đây hay không ạ? Nhờ em Tâm có thể dịch giùm chị. Tâm có hiểu câu hỏi chị không?
Vâng, em hiểu câu hỏi của chị ạ. She asked the questions about the classifications of chitta as 121 chittas. Because in these classifications, there are the Kiriya chitta that are Lukuttara, and the Kiriya chitta that are the 9, and 5 are the Rupa Kiriya chittas, and 4 the Arupa Kiriya chittas. So she's not sure what is the difference between the Lokuttara Kiriya chittas of the Arahat and the Rupa and Arupa Kiriya chittas of the Arahat.
I'll let Ajahn answer this one.
What's the question again? About Kiriyajita or what?
She asked about the Kiriya chittas of the Arhata Ajahn. And she said that in the classification of 121 chittas, there are the Lokuttara Kiriya chittas of the Arahat. And
yeah. Are all Arhatas the same? Or different quality?
Dạ,
Sariputta, Mokkhalana, and the Arhata, which does have the Jnana-citta. That's why it's different by way of having Jnana-citta or not having Jnana-citta. 89 for those ordinary without the superpower, supernatural power, and so on. That's why they are different. Each one is different. Even Chitta is different. Even right now, can there be just Sotapanna, Sakatagami, Anagami, Arahata, no superpower at all? Is it true? Or all of them have superpower? That's why we learn about different kinds of Chitta. But in this life, how many Chittas are there? Only 2 Kiriya Chittas for those who are not Arahata, right? But for Arahata, no more Kusala at all. That's why we learn to understand conditions for each Citta to arise. Is there any doubt about the difference between the 89 and the 121? See, they are different by way of jhana, superpower. Is there any more doubt? So we can go on to the other subject or aspect.
yes, I think Ajahn, she asked about the chitta, Lokuttara chitta of Arahata, and they are classified according to the different jhana chittas. And then on the other hand, the Kiriya chitta of the Arahata.
Okay.
Yes.
Does Arahata have akusala chitta? Any
Dạ no.
akusala chitta? Does Arahata have kusala chitta?
Dạ no Ajahn. No.
That's why what is kusala condition as root will be rootless. Will be not kusala, even its root, it's not kusala. Cannot be conditioned for any kind of birth at all. The end of the circle of birth and death. So Chitta has Arahata has Vipaka Chitta and Kriya Chitta only. Only. By way of the four chati, no kusala and no akusala at all. So what? Otherwise, how can there be arahata as there is still kusala chitta and akusala chitta?
In other words, there cannot be 121 cheetahs in the case of an arahat. The 121 cheetahs refer to all the different kinds of cheetahs that can arise. But in what context? In the arahat, there cannot be 121 cheetahs.
Yes, I think at first she mentioned the Lokuttara Kirya Chitta of the Arahats, but I think they are not Kirya Lokuttara, but they are the
Lokuttara cheetahs are Lokuttara cheetahs,
yes.
no matter for whom or when. Yes,
Right.
That which is Lokuttara cannot be Kirya.
Right.
Just like for the other lower Aryans, Lokuttara cannot be Kusala. And for the Arahat, Lokuttara is Lokuttara. Yes.
Right. And then the classification as 121, then they refer to the Makachita that have different jhana as base, at the basis for that, right? Vâng chị Xuân Lan ạ, như thế thì tức là nó khác nhau bởi vì một cái là một bên là các tâm đạo chị, một bên là các tâm đạo của vị A-la-hán mà dựa trên các tầng thiền, còn một bên thì là các tâm duy tác của các vị ấy sau khi đã trở thành một vị A-la-hán, thì lúc đó những tâm sắc giới và vô sắc giới của các vị ấy là tâm duy tác.
Nó cũng là các cái tâm thiền ở trong trên ở cái phần
Không,
siêu thế
cái kia là tâm siêu thế.
thiền.
Vâng, nhưng mà nó là siêu thế chị, nó là tâm đạo và tâm quả, còn kia là không phải là tâm đạo và tâm quả. Không phải là
Tại
tâm
vì
đạo.
nó còn có những cái tâm của các vị A-la-hán là tâm đại tố nữa em, 8 cái tâm đại tố nữa.
Thì là sau khi là không phải là tâm đạo. So can you explain for her the difference between the Kriya Chitta, the like Rupa Kriya Chitta of the Arahat and the Lokuttara Chittas?
The Lokuttara cheetahs are the Lokuttara cheetahs that arise at the moment of Arahata Magga, Arahata Pala. We cannot say that they are Rupa Kiriya, Lokuttara cheetahs or Arupa Kiriya. No, Lokuttara cheetahs are just Lokuttara cheetahs. Rupa and Arupa cheetahs arise at different moments.
Dạ, rồi con cũng hiểu rồi ạ.
Even if the Rupa Jhana Chitta was the condition or the base or the support for the Lokuttara Chitta to arise, still it's different moment, different Chitta.
Tại vì trong câu hỏi lúc đầu chị nói là tâm tố siêu thế, nhưng mà thực ra không có tâm tố siêu thế. Tâm siêu thế là tâm siêu thế chứ không có tâm tố siêu thế ạ.
Cái tức là năm
Tâm siêu
cái tâm
thế,
mà
tâm siêu
của
thế
cái
là
tầng
tâm siêu thế. Dạ, tâm siêu thế là tâm siêu thế chứ không phải là tâm tố siêu thế. Tâm tố là tâm tố và tâm siêu thế là tâm siêu thế. Dạ.
Thì năm cái tâm đó là cũng là chỉ đến 5 cái tâm của thiền của vị A La Hán, 5 cái tâm mà của cái tầng thánh thứ tư đó em, đúng không?
Vâng, nhưng mà tâm
Nó
siêu
cũng
thế
là
là
chỉ
khác
về
ha.
thiền.
Tâm siêu thế là khác, còn tâm mà một vị A La Hán khi đắc thiền á, thì không phải là đắc thiền với tâm sắc giới, tâm thiện sắc giới hay là tâm thiện vô sắc giới, mà vị ấy đắc thiền với tâm duy tác sắc giới và vô sắc giới. Nhưng ở cái thời điểm vị ấy trở thành một bậc A La Hán, nếu mà dựa trên các tầng thiền sắc giới thì đó là tâm siêu thế sắc giới, nếu mà dựa trên các tầng thiền vô sắc giới thì đó là tâm siêu thế vô sắc giới. Nhưng mà đó là hai loại tâm khác nhau. Tâm siêu thế và tâm suy tác là khác nhau ạ.
Chị đã hiểu cái phần đó rồi Tâm. Cảm ơn em.
Thank you so much, Achan and John and Sarah.